Prabhuji.
Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Naranam Namaskrityam Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayadmudirahe Nashtapraheshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavate Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistiki. Reading from Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, text number 10. The chapter is titled The Yoga of the Supreme Person. Utkramantam sitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha. Utkramantam sitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha. Ukramantam sitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha. Anybody else would like to chant?
Ukramandam stidam vapi bunjanam va gunanvidam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha.
Utkramantam sthitam vapi bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha.
Anybody else? Okay. Let's hear the audio.
Bunjanam va gunanvitam vimudhananu pashyanti jnana chakshusha.
Very good. Word by word. Utkramantam, quitting the body. Sthitam, situated in the body. Va api, either. Bunjanam, enjoying. Va, or. Guna anvitam, under the spell of the modes of material nature. Vimudha, foolish persons. Na, never. Anupashyanti, can see. Pashyanti, can see. Jnana chakshusha, those who have the eyes of knowledge. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all this. Please repeat. The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body. Nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained
are trained
in knowledge
In
in
knowledge,
knowledge
can see all these.
can
and
see.
see all this.
Purport. The word Jnana Chakshusha is very significant. Without knowledge, one cannot understand how a living entity leaves his present body, nor what form of body he is going to take in the next life, nor even why he is living in a particular type of body. This requires a great amount of knowledge, understood from Bhagavad Gita and similar literatures, heard from a bona fide spiritual master. One who is trained to pursue all these things is fortunate. Every living entity is quitting his body under certain circumstances. He is living under certain circumstances and he is enjoying under certain circumstances, under the spell of material nature. As a result, he is suffering different kinds of happiness and distress under the illusion of sense enjoyment. Persons who are everlastingly fooled by lust and desire lose all power to understand their change of body and their stay in a particular body. They cannot comprehend it. Those who have developed spiritual knowledge, however, can see that the spirit is different from the body and is changing its body and enjoying in different ways. A person with such knowledge can understand how the conditioned living entity is suffering in this material existence. Therefore, those who are highly developed in Krishna consciousness try their best to give this knowledge to the people in general. For their conditional life is very much troublesome. They should come out of it and be Krishna conscious and liberate themselves to transfer to the spiritual world. Om Agnanatiminandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmritan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swamrapaha Kadam Mayam Dadati Sva Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Srijata Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagarjatam Sagana Raghunathabitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paryana Saitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sagana Lalita Sivishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanto Namasate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpataru Bhayasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayavacha Patitanam Pavane Bhayo Vaishnave Bhayo Namanamaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. The verse again. Utkramantam sitam vapi bunjanam vagunanvitam vimudha nanupashyanti pashyanti jnana chakshusha The foolish cannot understand how a living entity can quit his body, nor can they understand what sort of body he enjoys under the spell of the modes of nature. But one whose eyes are trained in knowledge can see all these. Thank you very much for joining. So, in this particular section of Bhagavad Gita, let's see 1 minute. Let's go. Yeah. The first section of Bhagavad Gita, we saw in continuity of the 14th chapter that how one can quit the influence of material nature. In the first section, it's established that that's possible only by detachment. That's possible only by detachment to material objects, material sense gratification. That one can quit the influence of the modes of material nature. By attaching more to Krishna consciousness, automatically one finds himself detached. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga. Right? One does not separately have to practice renunciation. Bhukti and Mukti are doorkeepers for a person who is performing bhakti, devotional service. Because a person performing bhakti does not want bhukti, sense enjoyment, does not want mukti, even liberation. Right. So, in that state of mind, one can cross the modes, the influence of the modes of material nature. Right. And this next section, it forms, okay, it crosses over the modes of material nature, then what happens? Right. So it talks about transmigration. Right. How a person transmigrates from one body to another body, even while he is in this body itself. Dehinosmi yata de kamaram javanam jala tata dehantara prapti dhira tattana muyati. Right. Continuously in this body, the soul passes from boyhood to youth to old age. And similarly, at the time of death, it passes into another body. A sober person is not prevented by such a change. From the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, transmigration. Antakale chmameva sman muktva kalevaram. Right? Whatever state of consciousness one attains at the time of death, that type of body he attains. So we see in the previous verses, before this 10th verse, from 6th verse onwards, it's mentioned about how a person gets another body. Right? How a person gets another body. Especially we see, nicely explain how the person quits his present body. Right? Just as Krishna is eternal, Krishna's fragmental parts are also eternal. Nitya Nityanam, right? Nitya Nityanam Chetan Chetananam. Right? Eko Bahuda Vijakam, Mamai Vanso Jivaloka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, right? The living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And the Lord is Sanatan, right? The living entity is also Sanatan, right? That individual fragmental part never becomes the one, as what the Mayavadis claim. but always remain separate. Natveham jatu nasam, natve neme janati pava. Na chaivas bhavishyamam sarvam bhayam ataparam. Never was there a time when I did not exist, nor all these kings, nor you, nor at any time we will cease to exist. So the living entities are eternal and the Lord is eternal. Right? And at each and every point, they are individual. Right? A living entity never becomes the Lord, as the Mayavadis claim. Right? So, how does a living entity gets another body? Right? And that's explained in the previous verse that the living entity in this material world carries these different conceptions of life from one body to another. As the air carries aroma. Right? So the air by nature, right, carries aroma when it passes through a bush of roses or jasmine. And if air is flowing through the jasmine, where there are many jasmine trees, how would be the fragrance? It will be very aromatic. Similarly, when the air passes through dirty places like a sewage place and all, it will get all dirty smell, foul smell, right? It will get foul smell. So that does not make the air bad, right? Similarly, the soul, due to the influence, right? When the soul is trapped in a gross body and subtle mind, right? He remains aloof from all his apparent qualities, right? So, similarly, the soul trapped in the gross body, it just like the air, depending upon the mind's, subtle mind's consciousness, which it attains over this lifespan, it attains, it transmigrates other into another body. Right? When a person throughout his life wants to be violent, eating meat, this, that, violent, he builds up his next body. There are 8.4 million different living entities, and accordingly he gets a body suitable for that. Right? Similarly, a person who is attracted, Srila Prabhupada mentions about the scuba diving, right? He's attracted to scuba diving, say, right? Or he's attracted to some sport or the other sport. He's attracted to just always be in the water. He'll get a suitable body as a fish. So a person basically builds up his next body based on the consciousness, based on the desires of his mind. Basically, based on the desires of his mind, he builds up the next consciousness. Right? The mind is influenced under the three modes of material nature. Now, influenced under the three modes of material nature, he carries out certain desires and ultimately executes to attain that desire. Right? So, then it gets suitable body. It gets suitable body. In fact, even in this lifetime, Prabhupada mentioned that we change bodies left and right. At each and every moment, we change bodies. Right. We call it scientifically that at each and every moment, cells within our body change. But ultimately, our bodies continuously change. Depending upon our desires to lord it over material nature, our body becomes like that. Either fully agitated if we are in the mode of ignorance, or fully calm when we are completely influenced by the mode of goodness. Right. So, now that is not pursued by a person who is vimudha, who is a fool. It's not pursued by him, this change of bodies. And that's why this particular words, jnana chakshusha word is very important. Jnana chakshusha, person in knowledge. He's able to make out, right? He's able to make out how this transmigration takes place. You talk about transmigration to anybody else who is not in knowledge, they are not even ready to accept it. They are not even ready to accept it. Though right in front of them, they see a person taking birth. Right in front of them, they see a person leaving his body. Right in front of them, they see all these other living entities, right, who also show emotions, right, also show emotions. They have these pet dogs at their home, right, and they play with the dogs. They see how the dog behaves, but they are not ready to accept that there is also a soul in the dog, right? That is foolishness. That is foolishness. They're not ready to accept that there is a soul in the dog. It's gross foolishness. They're not ready to accept even that there is a soul within themselves. That, depending upon his karmic balance, he will get a next body. As a result, they just unlimited that unlimited sense gratification. Now, they're not ready to accept that there is life after death. Right? And many people are not even ready to accept death. Though in front of them, they see people die. While a spiritualist can understand jatasya dhruva mrityu, one who takes birth is going to leave his body. And based on the consciousness which he develops in this life, he will get a suitable body in his next life. And when one's karmic balance is over, he gets qualified to go into a spiritual kingdom, not in this material body. He gives up this gross material body. The gross material body is made of these 5 elements: earth, water, fire, air, and ether. And then there are these 3 subtle elements: mind, intelligence, and false ego, which carries the body, right? Which carries a soul, rather, from one body to another body. The mind is a reservoir of all the consciousness which is developed in this particular life. All the experiences which he has developed in this particular life. Right? And accordingly, it carries the soul, into another body. Right? It carries the soul into another body. So this is possible only for a jnana chakshusha. Person in full knowledge can understand this. Person who is vimudha is not able to understand. Right? And we see so many verses in the 2nd chapter which talks about the difference between the soul and the body. right? The Sankhya Yoga chapter, analytical study of the soul is nicely explained from close to the 10th verse of Bhagavad Gita to almost the 30th verse of Bhagavad Gita. Avinashi tu tadvidi, yeah, so न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचिना नायं भूत्वा न भविता न भूय अजनित्य शाश्वतोयं पुराणो न हन्यते अन्यमाने शरीरे. Never was a time when the soul is killed, right? Never was there a time. So many verses like that. Nainam chindanti shastrani. The soul can never be caught by weapons, nor withered by the wind, nor moistened by the water, right? Nor burned by the fire. Right? So similarly, at the time of quitting his body, the living entity, his soul attains a suitable body. So, and even in the current body, the soul goes through different happiness and distress based on its karmic balance. The punya karma and papa karma, right? So, yeah. Are there any questions so far? Any questions you would like to ask? Or share the realization on this wonderful topic? Haribol. It's quiet and calm. Nobody seems to have any questions or real discussion. Amritananda Prabhu is here. Jai Haribol. I was just thinking about him that Amritananda Prabhu is not here, so probably. Haribol.
Haribol Prabhu, Dandavad, all glories to Prabhupada. We are driving our way back home.
You're driving way back home.
Yeah, we came back from New York, so we had gone with Prem Kishore Prabhu and Mataji. So we spent some time there, headed back home. Thank you.
Namo Brahmana Devaya, Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. Jagaditaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namah. And Mataji, thank you very much for joining.
Sorry, you're breaking off a little bit. I don't know if it's my connection, Prabhu.
So we have now two Sachi Mata is there, and then Sachi Rani is there. All right.
Correct. And then my family also have another Sachi.
Yes, the daughter.
Correct.
That's exactly the message I sent to Mataji. Mataji, did you see my message?
Yeah, I did. I responded to it just now, Mataji. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
So happy for you.
Thank you.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
Mataji. Welcome to Prabhupada.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Congratulations,
so much. Thank you,
Mataji and
Madhupati Prabhu.
Prabhuji.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody, for everything. You all are so important to us in our spiritual life. Thank you.
So thank you for the beginning of spiritual life.
Yeah, Yeah, this is when it starts. Yeah, I'm looking forward now, whatever, DT services, other services so far couldn't do that, but looking forward to get engaged.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu, for everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you. So we are discussing on this topic of transmigration today in this 15th chapter, 10th verse.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wonderful realization you can share.
Transmigration. Yeah, Prabhu, what we can share is just what we've learned and heard from you and other Vaishnavas reading Prabhupada's books. I mean, some people think that, death is final.
Yeah.
And that is a lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
But if you have the knowledge from proper knowledge, everyone has knowledge, proper knowledge, then you can realize, and then it becomes very logical also to understand about reincarnation.
Yeah.
So, for example, there are so many instances people recall their previous birth.
Mm-hmm.
And exactly, or people in a different country from Sweden could start speaking African language. And how does all that happen? And our scriptures say it travels, the soul travels on the mind of ego. So mind remembers. Of course, death is so painful, and out of mercy, that forgetfulness is coming, but in some cases it happens. So nobody can explain. Nobody.
Yeah.
People say it is emotional or sentimental or whatever, mythological. It doesn't fit in their perception. So, and that is a sense of arrogance. But if you're humble enough to at least be inquisitive, why is this happening? Why is this? How is this?
Yeah.
Then you get to know so much more, and then apna hi fayda hota hai na, Prabhu. So if I know there is reincarnation and I could become a worm, then I take my human life seriously. Then I ask, what's the purpose? Okay, the purpose is to know myself and go back to Godhead. Then at least I can try to do something. Otherwise, that's my little understanding on transmigration. But I'm sure you've been in the class. Sorry, I missed it. Maybe Sachi Rani would have something to say, or I've been encouraging her. Prabhu, you all also please encourage, and I've been telling our Matajis also, Satyabhama Mataji and Shachi Mata Mataji, that they should also take up the seva of doing class, our Bhagavad Gita class and Bhagavatam class. But they're feeling shy.
प्रभु जी आप जैसा ज्ञान नहीं है अभी नहीं है अभी बहुत कुछ सीख we are in the learning process. We know all this, but we don't have that much knowledge.
I can only tell you what Madhupati Prabhu told me when I was first asked to
because why? Because he knows that you have the knowledge. He just wanted to bring it out. That's
Same
all
thing,
he did. He just wanted to bring it out. हमारी है, but इतनी depth में नहीं है. You know what? We have the knowledge, the basic knowledge, but itni scriptural knowledge nahi hai. Jitni like aap logon ko hai.
Mataji,
the
I don't
research
know
that you do.
I only know the essence, and that's all you need, basic knowledge.
Yeah, that's all I know. The essence I know.
Essence hai na, more than enough. And all Madhupati Prabhu told me, don't worry, just repeat what you heard from your Guru and Vaishnava. So, you all have been hearing for such a long time. That's all you have to do. And believe me, automatically it happens, Mataji.
Maybe Satyam ho, Mataji.
Then everyone, one by one, aap kar lo. Ho jayega, believe me. And how Mataji...
Eventually with your blessings.
Sachi Mata, you can give a class on Monday. Srimad Bhagavatam.
No, Prabhuji.
I'll send you the verse number. You have the weekend. You have the weekend to prepare.
Not ready, Prabhuji. Not yet. I'm not ready yet. I will let you know when I'm ready.
And Satyabhama Mataji will give on Tuesday.
कोई भी अटेंड नहीं करेगा अगर पहले बता दोगे तो.
Satyarani will do it on Wednesday.
All right, Satyarani Mataji will do it on Wednesday. Wonderful.
No, I think Amritananda Prabhu is still, I think, he's 2 days by the ceremony which happened today. So,
Yeah. No,
No,
we
no, but
need
I've
some
been
more
saying this
time.
before.
You
No
said it to
forcing.
me only on Sunday, okay, Prabhuji, only on Sunday. This time is not enough. Will give us more time.
You know, Mataji, you think I may know a lot, I know nothing. And whenever I prepare for a class, some point clarification I need, I always call up Madhupati Prabhu. And, you know, of course, I tell you always, I refer to Gaurang Priya's Prabhu's
Yes.
Bhagavad Gita
Yes.
notes. You can also refer to that. It's so simple. And the best thing is there is support available. There is support
Right.
available. And wo ho jate hai, don't worry. Don't feel shy. Don't feel scared ki, will I make myself a fool? Just repeat whatever you heard. And it helps the sadhana. My personal experience, Mataji, whenever I have to do class, I have to read up. I have to.
Yes. Definitely, that I definitely agree that it does help.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you. I won't take much time.
Yeah.
Savita is
Okay,
telling me you
Prabhuji,
hijacked
very well.
Madhupati Prabhu's class. Sorry. Madhupati Prabhu, over to you.
No, that's all right. You're sharing and encouraging and inspiring others. They're okay. Take up the class seva. Wonderful. Yep. I was also finding that none of them have any questions. And I was thinking about you that, oh, Amritananda will be there. She will initiate a discussion. Okay. Today is also a special day, disappearance day of Narottam Das Thakur.
Yes.
Narottam Das Thakur, in our line, there is a very advanced soul, so much absorbed in the love of Godhead for Gauranga Mahaprabhu, that when he took birth, when Gauranga Mahaprabhu had gone to the Padma river, he had jumped into Padma river and infused his prema in that Padma river. That one day here, in this nearby village, on the banks of Padma river, devotee will be born. And there was Narottam Das Thakur. So much so that when he jumped in the Padma river, he came out completely infused by Mahaprabhu's love. Completely infused. He was born in a blackish complexion, but when he jumped into Padma river, he came out. He was in whitish complexion as Mahaprabhu. Golden complexion. Right. And with Shyamananda Pandit, Srinivas Thakur, he initiated the first Sankirtan movement, right, of distributing books. Narottam Das Thakur. Right. Yeah. Yeah. He got initiated by Lokanath Goswami. Right. Narottam Das Thakur. Yeah. And we have so many bhajans which are sung by Narottam Das Thakur. Yeah, the close associate, Ramachandra Kaviraj. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, right? Daya Karo Mori, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu, Daya Karo Mori. That's also sung by, it's one of the prominent bhajans sung by Narottam Das Thakur. Yeah. You can all read more about Narottam Das Thakur on this auspicious day. That will be very nice. Yep. Any other things? Okay. Thank you very much. We don't have other things. We'll end here. Hari Hari.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you so much for wonderful class and wonderful discussion. Yeah, and in Narottam Das Thakur, we sing that Sri Krishna Chaitanya, that in last line he says, Ramachandra Sangam Age Narottama Dasa. He was also asking for the association, right, Prabhuji? In that
He is asking for association of Ramachandra Kaviraj. Ramachandra Sangamage Narottam Das. Sometimes we see Ramachandra, so we might think about, oh, Lord Ramachandra.
No, not.
That is his associate.
Chaitanya Prabhu's Parshad, he is?
Yeah. He is also a close associate of Narottam Das Thakur. And yeah, he's also a devotee of Mahaprabhu, Ramachandra Kaviraj.
Yeah. And also, Prabhuji, we do Damodar Ashtakam every day after Bhagavad Gita class.
Yeah. What about that? Oh,
We-
I see. In this month of Kartik, we do after Bhagavad Gita class every day. All right. I would like to hear. You would like to chant?
If it's okay, can I sing the Ashtakam?
Sure. You're driving or?
No, I'm home. I just reached home.
Okay, please.
Just share the.
Should I make you a host? 1 minute to co-host?
Yeah, or you can put up the Damodar Ashtakam.
No, I made you a co-host. So.
Prabhuji, can you share Damodar Ashtakam on this screen? We can read.
Mataji. 1 minute.
Who wants to share?
Yeah, I'm sharing.
Okay.
Can you all see?
Nope. Do you want me to share?
Yeah, if you can share, I'm doing it from my mobile phone.
Oh, I see. That's the problem. Okay. 1 minute. Okay, I'm sharing. 1 minute.
Yeah. Namami Sharam Sachi Danandarupam Lasat Kundalam Goku De Prajamanam
Namishwaram Satchit Rupa Lasat Dalambakure Brajamanam
Yashoda Piyalokha Ladadhavaman Param Vrishtamathyanta Todrutya Gopya
Yashoda Biyalokhaladavamanam Param Nitya Gopya
Rudantam Muhurnetra Yukmam Mirjantam Karamboja Yugamena Satankanetram
Rudantam Nitra
Yudmam Mrijantam
Karambujayugmena Satankanetram
Muhu Swashakam Patri Rekhakakantha Sthita Kraiva Damoda Ram Bhakti Patham
Mudrasakam Patri Rekakanta Sita Kaivam Damodaram Bhakti Bhagam
Iti Trexvalilapi Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimanjantam Akhyapayantam
Iti Tripalilabhir Ananda Kunde Swagosham Nimajjantam Akhyapayantam
Tadiye Shitaneshu Bhakterchitatvam Punha Prematastam Shattavriti Vande
Tadyeshi Bhaktajitatvam Puna Prematastam Satavritti Vande
Varam Deva Moksham Na Mokshavadam Va Na Chanyam Vrineham Va Reshadapiha
Varam Deva Moksham Namokshavadim Nachanyam Neham Vare Sadapya
Idam Deva Purnatha Gopala Balam Sada me manasa virashtam ke manya
Idam Teva Purnatha Balabalam Sada me Manasi Avirasam
Namo Deva Damoda Ananta Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhu Dukha Jalapti Magnam.
What happened?
Namo
Devadamodar Ananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodukha Jalabdi Manyam
Kripa Drishti Deen Bhatana Grihane Kamamad Ekshitreshay
Padrishti Vrishyati Dinam Bhatana
Ganesha Mamajnu
Gyami
Yakshidrishya
Kuveratmaja Patha Murtai Payatva Tvaya Mochita Bhakti Ajakritavcha
Kuviratmato Bhattva
Viratmaja Murtai
Mudhyaiva
Vayadva
Tvaya
Tvaya Mochita
Mochitau
Bhakti
Bhakti
Bhaja
Bhajau
Kritavcha
Krutaucha
Tatha Prema Bhaktim Swa Kame Prayacha Namokshe Kraho Mesti Damodareha
Tata
Tata
Prema
Prema
Bhaktim
Bhaktim
Swakame
Svakame
Prayacha
Prayacha Namo
Namo
Graho
Mesti
Mesti
Damodare
Namaste Studane Suradipti Dhamne Tvadiyodarayatha Vishwasya Dhamne.
Namaste.
Namaste Studamne
Suraditi Damne
Sudamne Tvadiyodarayata Vishwasadamne.
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam.
Namo
Radhikaya
Radhikaya
Tvadya
Tvadiya
Priyaya
Namo
Nantalilaya
Nantalilaya
Devaya Tubhyam.
Namo Radhikaya Tvadiya Priyaya Namo Nantalilaya Devaya Tubhyam.
Namo
Radhikaya Tvadya Priyaya
Namo
Nantalilaya
Nantalilaya
Devaya
Devaya
Tubhyam.
Tubhyam.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Shri Radha Damodar ji ki jai.
Jai,
Damodar Ashtakam ki jai.
Jai,
Jai Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Can read the translations, please.
To the Supreme Lord, whose form is the embodiment of eternal existence, knowledge, and bliss, whose shock-shaped earrings are swinging to and fro, who is beautifully shining in the divine realm of Gokula, who, due to the offense of breaking the pot of yogurt that his mother was turning into butter, and then stealing the butter that was kept hanging from his swing, is quickly running from the wooden grinding mortar in fear of Mother Jasoda, but who has been caught from behind by her, who ran after him with a greater speed. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances.
Seeing the whipping stick in his mother's hand, he is crying and rubbing his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes are filled with fear, and the necklace of pearls around his neck, which is marked with 3 lines like a conch shell, is shaking because of his quick breathing due to crying. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodara, whose belly is bound not with ropes but with his mother's pure love, I offer my humble obeisances.
By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. Just one second. Yeah, I'll repeat. Sorry, Pauji. By such childhood pastimes as this, he is drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy, and is revealing to those devotees who are absorbed in knowledge of his supreme majesty and opulence that he is only conquered by devotees whose pure love is imbued with intimacy and is free from all conceptions of awe and reverence. With great love, I again offer my obeisances to Lord Damodara hundreds and hundreds of times.
O Lord, although you are able to give all kind of benedictions, I do not for the boon of the impersonal liberation, nor the highest liberation of eternal life in Vaikuntha. nor only other boon, which may be obtained by executing the 9 processes of bhakti. O Lord, I simply wish that this form of yours as Balagopala in Vrindavan may ever be manifest in my heart. For what is the use to me of any other boon besides this?
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisance unto you.
Fifth. It's the
O
fifth one.
Damodara, O Ananta,
Oh, fifth one.
O Lord, your lotus face, which is encircled by locks of soft black hair, tinged with red, is kissed again and again by Mother Yashoda, and your lips are reddish like the bimba fruit. May this beautiful vision of your lotus face be ever manifest in my heart. Thousands and thousands of other benedictions are of no use to me.
O Supreme Godhead, I offer my obeisances unto you. O Damodar, O Ananta, O Vishnu, O Master, O my Lord, be pleased upon me. By showering your glance of mercy upon me, deliver this poor ignorant fool who is immersed in an ocean of worldly sorrows and become visible to my eyes.
O Lord Damodar, just as the 2 sons of Kuvera, Manigreva and Nal Kuvera, were delivered from the curse of Narada and made into great devotees by you in your form as a baby, tied with rope to a wooden grinding motor. In the same way, please give to me your own prema bhakti. I only long for this and have no desire for any kind of liberation.
O Lord Damodar, I first of all offer my obeisances to the brilliantly effulgent robe which binds your belly. I then offer my obeisances to your belly, which is the abode of the entire universe. I humbly bow down to your most beloved Srimati Radharani, and I offer all obeisances to you, the Supreme Lord, who displays unlimited pastimes. Radha Damodar ki jai.
Jai.
Yay. Beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu. Thank you.
Thank you. Hari Bol. Hari
Hare Krishna.
Hari.
Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha. Sindhu evacha. Patitanam pavanebhyo. Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Vaishnavendra ki jai.
Jai.
Bhagavad Gita ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai.
jai.
Thank you so much, Madhupati Prabhu.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Bol.
Haribo.
Thank you, Madhupati Prabhu. Thank you, everybody. Hare Krishna.